Good day, doctors.
George Allen here. Good day, doctors.
Hey, this is Governor Chris Christie from New Jersey. Good day, doctors.
Go! You're watching Dr. Politics.
Hey everyone, it is Friday and you're watching Dr. Politics. Today we're joined by Dr. Shepard. Welcome again.
I'm a doctor like Joe Biden is a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Pepper's a doctor.
That's true. By the way, speaking of Dr. Have you seen that meme where I think there's a Diet Coke and a Coke can, one of them falls over and starts spilling, and they go to Dr. Politics, Dr. Pepper. You're a doctor, and he goes, I guess I should have told him I'm just a PhD, not an MD.
No, it's okay. I'm just being funny.
But yeah, so busy week. Let's start with the donkey in the room, so to speak, Joe Biden. I did not know that Donald Trump was the vice president.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Putin succeeded then if he's now the president of the Ukraine.
Yeah, he's the new president.
That's what Putin wanted. I think that's what Putin wanted.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit funny. You know what
though?
Guys...
The thing is, Biden corrected himself in the first one, but that's because people apparently, I didn't hear it on the tape, but they were yelling, Zelensky. So then he returned and said, oh, Zelensky, I meant. Oops, I got Putin on, so.
Yeah, and he said, he made a comment like he goes, oh, Putin's he's gonna beat Putin.
Yeah.
It's like that stand up for, what's the guy's name? Ben or whatever the guy was.
Yeah,
wheelchair.
That's right. I remember Jackie Walorski. Where's Jackie? Is she here?
I don't know.
Remember that line?
Yes, I do.
Where's Jackie Walorski? Yeah.
I get so many Admiral Stockdale vibes from this guy. Remember Admiral Stockdale?
Yeah. He was a hero. Unlike Biden, he was a real American hero.
Yeah.
Stockdale.
He turned his hearing aid off in the middle of the debate.
Yes, he said, why am I here?
Yeah, and it comes down to,
Did you see, you remember Saturday Night Live? They did that skit after that debacle of a debate.
Yes, I do remember
Thoreau in the car, and he tried to he was going to leave Stockdale on the side of the road, and I guess he figured in the desert or something, Stockdale would pass on, but yeah.
Yeah, and he shows up, I think.
He's just head on down that way. Man, keep going, walking down that way. I'll come back for you.
Yeah. But remember Ross Perot's second running mate, Pat Schultz?
That's right, I do. In fact, he was at NET. I had him on the show once.
Yeah, I actually took a call from him. He called up and mentioned that he wanted to. I guess he wanted to come on to debate Paul on something, and I'm like, well, you got to talk to And I put him through to Paul's producer. I forget her name.
Oh, okay.
And,
well, I liked Pat Show. He seemed like a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a libertarian, so he's wrong on a lot of things too,
Yeah, Well, yeah. He seems smart. He won that. He crushed in that debate that I saw him in.
Mm-hmm.
Not the presidential debate. But at NET, we had him on, and it was a debate.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things, is I think if Ross Perot was not in the race in '92,
Yeah,
Bush would have won re-election easily.
I guess so. But I came to like I voted for HW. I didn't like Perot at the time, but I've come to like Ross Perot more.
Hmm.
I think he would have been good.
I'm not too much of a Ross Perot fan, frankly. I think Ross Perot had some mental issues also. Remember, he thought the Viet Cong sent assassins to kill him.
Well, I think by 92 he's still okay.
No, he was saying that in '92.
Huh?
He was saying that in '92.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And, but I mean, that was one of those elections, you know. And then you got that idiot, Alan Lichtman.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Biden's going to win,
Yeah.
you know. But if they replace Biden, they're not going to win. I mean, please. Everything is so subjective. I mean, all of his keys, his magic keys,
It's silly. It's just post hoc reasoning. It's worthless.
and they talk about the whole stuff with the magic keys and stuff like that. You know, his magic keys is a joke, frankly.
Mm.
And he basically, I think he's full of himself, frankly.
Yeah, I think he's an odd guy, but it's his whole formula. It's just what I'm saying is it's just like post hoc reasoning.
Yeah.
He pieces
And
it together.
what universe is he living in? You know, one of his keys, I believe, is the economy. And what universe is he living in that he thinks the economy is better today?
Yeah, I agree. Well, he doesn't go to the grocery store, I guess. Well, or he's
No.
something else to shop, or he's got money. He's one of these overpaid university people.
Yeah, that's why American University it's $100,000 a year, I think, to send a kid there.
Yeah.
And it's what do you call it? Yeah. And we've got we're at 280 days since the Hamas terrorists
Yeah.
attacked Israel. I think Israel needs to go. You know, they need to get. You know, they'll put an end to this. Frankly, Hamas started it. Israel's going to end it. Frankly, and Hamas cannot be kept around. Frankly, at the end of the day.
No, I agree. They'll hang in there, but yeah. So, what'd you think? Biden saved himself for another day.
He didn't do as bad as he did on the debates, but I think he was probably doped up with a bunch of various drugs to keep him happy. But he still had more than one gaffe. I think 2 or 3 gaffes. Yeah. You know,
he still trailed off, and he did that classic anyway.
And you still have people this morning calling for. I mean, George Clooney penned a letter saying that Biden needs to step aside for the good of the party.
Yeah.
Even Obama and Nancy Pelosi privately had conversations. However, I will say one thing in defense of Joe Biden. The members of the Democrat Party nominated Joe Biden. They voted for him in the primary. If they do not nominate Joe Biden, they replace him with Camilla or someone else, like a Gavin Newsom. They're not. It's going to be. It's going to be hard to go back. First of all, you're disenfranchising all the voters, the people who voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Democracy is dying. We don't do the smoke-filled rooms anymore. If we did that, we'd have a completely different set of nominees over the past few years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think and there is some validity to the smoke-filled rooms, frankly, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
That way, I think that would have kept Mitt Romney off the ballot as our nominee. I think it would have kept John McCain away too, frankly.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, I think we could have had a better candidate. Like in 2008, we could have had somebody like a Fred
Well,
Thompson or Newt Gingrich.
I guess the key is who's in that smoke-filled room. And
True.
in the case of smoke-filled room for Democrats, and they don't smoke in it. Well, maybe marijuana, but the marijuana
Oh,
smoke-filled
geez,
room,
yeah.
they'd have to. I mean, the people they'd have in there are really pretty bad, or maybe you could say are representative of the party as a whole.
Yeah.
You'd have union people. You'd have, your LGBT folks. They'd have to be represented.
And speaking of smoke-filled rooms, I'm going to do a little detour here, but the state of Maryland has banned indoor vaping.
Oh yes, I think so. Yeah.
But what's funny is they also you're not allowed to smoke in public parks and stuff like that in Montgomery County, all right? But you can start smoking pot in a public park, and nobody has a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go running through the parks, it really breaks me your stride when you're running. You get a nice clip going, and then all of a sudden you smell the whiff of marijuana,
Oh, yeah.
And I even smell it when I'm driving the Beltway. So that means they're driving while they're high, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a bad smell.
It is a horrible smell, But Montgomery, they're so sophisticated and enlightened. That's okay, but we'll put you in jail if you dare light up a cigarette in a park.
Yeah.
And but back to the issue. I think the press, he did better than the debates, but I don't think this press conference does not save him, frankly.
Yeah, it's not saying much.
We would not have seen, we would have not have heard this morning about the secret meeting between Obama and Pelosi.
Yeah, I heard something about it.
And then there's the meeting. Then there's the George Clooney letter. That would have all been pulled.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is they can't really replace him unless they put in Camilla. Actually, Camilla constitutionally should be invoking the 25th Amendment, frankly.
Yeah.
That's what she should be doing. I don't know why they're not doing it, frankly.
Yeah.
But that's what she should be doing. Because, this guy goes to sleep at 4. What is it, 10 to 4:30 he works?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he said he gets up, he works at 7 and goes to bed at midnight, he said.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a minute.
No, of course, I think it's a lie.
Because there's one who gets up around 5 o'clock every day. When 10 o'clock rolls around, you're like really drowsy by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe he works at 7. Maybe he gets up at 7 and works to midnight. I doubt it, but I don't have any naps in between. But
or he's working. He works from 7 in the morning here to when you get midnight in Paris.
The oddest attack that he and his team have come up with is to accuse Donald Trump of not working hard. And they say he's been spending time on the golf course. The problem with that is he's not the current president.
Yep.
He doesn't really have any responsibilities, but they go after him as spending all this time on the golf course. But okay. But the guy that spent all the time on the golf course while you prepared for 5 straight days beat you badly in the debate. So.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, his boss spent a lot of time on the golf course too.
Yeah,
Hussein Obama.
Yeah,
and he was out on the greens every week, pretty much. We've got. It's one of those things. I don't think Joe Biden survived. Well, if he doesn't survive, it's basically going to be a miscarriage of justice, frankly.
Yeah.
If they want to replace him, they should have Camilla invoke the 25th Amendment. Frankly,
yeah,
that's how you replace him. There's no other way. Otherwise, you're disenfranchising millions of voters who voted for that old man.
I think her best bet is that he does run and win somehow. Then he steps down, she becomes president. I think beforehand it's going to be tough for her to win a general election.
Oh, yeah, and she'd want him to stick around for at least 24 months and a day. Because then she gets to finish up the 2 terms, then she gets 2 more terms. She gets the 2 more tries to run.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Clintons are another bunch of folks that are not happy with Joe Biden. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and the Democrats really don't have a strong bench to, I mean.
Well, speaking of that, Dwight, if I email you a picture, maybe you can post it. I saw a funny meme of Hillary and Joe. If I find it, I'll send it to you. You get kicked out of it. But I agree. I think, but she can't seriously think she'd have a shot though at the nomination. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's either Kamala Harris or Biden, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to get someone else, because then they'd have to leapfrog her, and well, that's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to help with the black vote.
Yeah.
And you decide to tell African Americans that, it doesn't matter. We're going to deny the first time.
That's right.
And there's.
But I don't know what that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have some idea of who they want or have some plan. I doubt they have any sort of plan. But I don't know. And what's his name? Obama can't be on the ticket. He can't do it. So.
And Michelle doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Biden or Camilla at the top of the ticket.
I never got the whole Michelle Obama boomlet. I never understood why she'd be qualified to be president.
Yeah, I didn't get that. They have a better chance. I mean, running Oprah for president.
Yeah. All right, Dwight, I sent that to you. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it.
Okay.
But I think Biden holds on. But maybe they do feel that Kamala will be have a better shot. If not winning, because I don't think she could win either, but maybe she won't bring them down as much. But I can't see that. I would think that in your swing states, all your red states, I think she'd be a real drag.
Oh, yeah.
And there's talk of New York being closer, and it's probably closer than it should be. I don't think we're going to win New York. If we won New York, it would be a Dukakis-Mondale type blowout. But I don't think
that's what Senator Bennett's been saying of Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if we can win Colorado. We haven't won Colorado in a long time. There you go. I thought you'd get kicked out of that.
Yeah, it is funny.
But my favorite meme once, when the Epstein thing, Bill and Hillary writing a letter, and it was me and only me who was responsible. So
yeah, and it's
but Colorado hasn't won in a while, so maybe Bennett's thinking maybe we have a shot at Colorado. I haven't heard anyone say that, but that would be nice.
Well, we had a senator in Colorado in the last cycle. In 2016, we had an elected Republican there.
Yeah, that's right. You had a senator. We did.
Yeah, and Colorado goes back and forth. Remember, Hank Brown was a senator there for.
That's right, and Armstrong, and I remember Bill Owens, the governor. He was talking about
Campbell. Nighthorse Campbell was a senator.
Yeah, he became a Republican. Yeah. But I was in Colorado in the 90s, late 90s, and when I was there, it was still Republican-leaning state. It was still back in the old days. But
I was back with the Coors family. The Coors family was good Republican supporters at that point.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was the hippies, Boulder and Denver, that turned it so lefty. Boulder's a beautiful little town, but it's very liberal.
Yeah, it's all that
Hippie-ish.
Mork and Mindy. It's all that Mork and Mindy influence. Remember that was set in
Yeah.
Boulder, Colorado.
You know, a friend of mine said it was Boulder's the most interesting city. It was interesting for you had all the lefties there, but it was also the home of an old sort of certainly a right leaning magazine, Soldier of Fortune, and then it was based out of Boulder.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember Chuck Johnson.
Yeah.
He was actually telling me about. Evidently, there was talk. Remember the New American, the John Birch Society magazine?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling. He goes, Soldier of Fortune was thinking of buying the New American name, to use.
Okay. Really. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Soldier Fortune. I guess that's still not around. That's not around. I guess anymore. I assume.
Yeah. Remember, you used to be able to hire hitmen in that because there was a case.
That's right. Yeah.
Where people could call. You could look for a hitman in there.
That's right, and soldiers to go out in war for be a mercenary, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember Ruth Ann Aaron. She was a Senate candidate in Maryland.
I do remember.
I wonder if she got her hitman from Soldier of Fortune magazine.
I don't know. She's out of jail. I guess I don't know if she's still alive, but she got out. Remember, she got out.
Yeah, she got out. Yeah.
Ruth Ann Aaron. I remember. Now, who did she run? Did she run against Alan Salisbury?
Bill Brock.
Bill Brock.
She ran against Bill Brock, yeah. But there was somebody at NET that liked her. I'm trying to think. They were saying they had nice things to say about Ruth Ann Aaron. Yeah.
Well, I never met her, but I remember her.
She was an angry for. I ran into her when the college Republicans went out to the old Holiday Inn Crown Plaza in Twin Brook. Phil Graham was the breakfast speaker. I think it was the Cherry Chase Club had a breakfast event with Phil Graham. And we all went out there, and Bill Brock's guy is standing at the door giving out Bill Brock stickers, right? Like a good campaign worker, Ruth Ann Aaron comes in late, and she gets all peeved about how everyone's got a Bill Brock sticker. She goes up to some guy named Harrison. I think his name was Harrison Fox, or James Harrison, or Harrison James, or whatever his name was. And she goes, "Thank God, at least you don't have a Bill Brock sticker on. Will you wear one of mine?" And he was a Ruth Ann supporter, But yeah, rule for candidates: don't be upset if your opponent's there first and slapping stickers on everyone that comes in the door because they're right there.
Yeah. Bill Brock, is he still with us?
No, he passed away a couple of years ago now.
Okay, yeah, I remember Bill Brock.
Last year he passed away.
Really?
Yeah, we did a little spotlight on him at the Ellen Sauerbrey tribute dinner we did.
Because he would have been, remember, he's a senator from Tennessee, and then he ran for senator in Maryland. He'd be like one of the first senators to ever be a senator from 2 states.
Well, his wife was a lifelong. She was born and raised in Maryland.
Okay.
She's still with us.
Did she serve? Maybe she did serve in government. Maybe not. I thought the name.
Yeah. By the way, here, let me share something. This is a blast from the past and sort of reminiscing about old time folks,
The yeas are 204, the nays are 210. The resolution is.
Exactly. Well, as a matter of fact, I worked with the airlines when I was in college.
The last elected Republican from Montgomery County.
Well, it's Connie Morella?
Yeah, that's Connie Morella.
Wow, I didn't recognize her.
Yeah. But you can watch this video on the Maryland Federation of Republican Women's website. It's
I met
great.
one, kind of a tiny woman, as I remember.
Yeah.
Small.
And
Morella, yeah, the legend. A legend,
yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you think? You think Hogan can pull it off?
Oh, he's up in the polls now.
Oh, really? Last time I saw he was behind.
Yeah, there was a poll this week that went out where he is now. he is now up by 5.
Yeah, I believe he could probably win, especially since Biden's is going to get crushed. And sure, Biden wins Maryland, but Biden will do bad enough. In other words, probably won't do well enough, even in Maryland. In other words, he's going to underperform in Maryland.
And the problem Angela Alsobrooks has is one, high crime in Prince George's County.
Yeah.
She's been county executive since 2018.
Yeah.
It has not gotten any better since she's been county executive.
Yeah.
Over 4th of July, after the 4th of July weekend, I think 2 kids were shot in Prince George's County over that weekend.
Yeah.
Countless number of other people were shot and killed in that county that same weekend. And as this guy who was being interviewed on News Channel 8 a couple weeks ago, whereas now it's Channel 7, but he basically said, Angela Alsobrooks is the county executive and she wants to be the next senator. She needs to fix her county first before we give her a promotion to be a United States senator.
Yeah, that's right.
And because under her, we've had the bail reforms. Under her, we've had catch and release for all intents and purposes with criminals with cashless bail, soft on crime policies. So yeah, she's responsible for the mess Prince George's County is. Maybe she would go back to a little bit of law and order and get rid of cashless bail in her county. She's got a revolving door for prisons. When I see Angela Alsobrooks, I think of that old Willie Horton ad that George H.W. Bush ran against Mike Dukakis. And we know Joe Biden's got that revolving door at the border where they go out, they go back in,
Oh, yeah.
And they come to Maryland and murder a woman. Yeah. I think, that's another thing. I don't understand. That's a big sleeping issue is the illegal aliens crisis we're at right now.
Yeah.
It has gotten so bad. People are not going. People in some parts of Montgomery County don't feel going to the parks.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be accosted, they're going to be asked for money, And it's like you've got that. I've seen inside Montgomery Mall, nice mall over in the Bethesda area. And it is, I've seen homeless people inside the food court asking people for money. And when you tell them you don't have cash, they go, "Oh, we got Cash App."
Yeah.
So there's something wrong with that, I think some of the bigger that's definitely one of the problems, and that's something that people don't want. That families don't want to have go to the mall to be accosted by people panhandling, who are professional panhandlers, by the way. They're not really homeless. A lot of them are professionals at it. There's an article back in the Washington Post. I don't know if you remember this, back when NET was. I remember Paul Weyrich talked about this guy who goes to Florida in the winter months, and he comes up here, and he was pulling down $2,000 a week in the 90s.
Wow.
$2,000 tax free.
Wow.
And he was telling the guy, he goes, "Yeah, you just take the money to the bank, and they'll count it for you. And you got to wait before you see the money in your account." But he goes, "Yeah." That was also before Coinstars machines.
Oh, yeah.
And,
well, we have a lot of that here too in Northern Virginia. A lot of media strips.
Even McLean, I'm finding like in McLean, like right there by, the mall, the new mall and the old mall, by the way.
The thing is, I don't know about sorry for him, but the tough thing is, who has cash?
Yeah.
Don't you very rarely have cash? Maybe some change, but
it makes hard. I tell you, it's like I remember I like doing the 50-50s at these Lincoln Reagan dinners we do. And I was saying that, hey, but I never carry cash. But at least now they take what do you call Anodot for processing. It all works out well at the end.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, and so You could put.
But I wouldn't think you're getting rich doing that, though. I mean, not you, but I mean the panhandlers. The one guy you said was doing well, but I think it'd be kind of tough. But I don't know. I don't know.
I'm always reminded of an old Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Rock and the neurosurgeon, where he is, doing squeegees and doing the panhandler, right?
Hmm.
And he is, and he goes, "Have you thought of getting a job so you don't have to do this?" And the guy goes, "Excuse me, what do you do?" And the guy says, "I'm a neurosurgeon." He goes, "Do you see me coming to your place of business and telling you how to do your job? Please extend that same professional courtesy to me and don't tell me how to do." And the hilarious one was they did a sequel to that one where the neurosurgeon, I think it was not Alec Baldwin, but the neurosurgeon is for neurosurgery, and you have Chris Rock walking in there. He goes, "You sure you should be cutting that?" And the guy that he's operating with is like awake and he's making funny faces. He goes, "I wouldn't cut that." He goes, "Doesn't feel good, does it, when someone comes into your place of business?" But I view a lot of these guys as grifters, pretty much,
Yeah, probably.
And also this week, our old friend Jim Inhofe passed on.
Oh yes, yeah. He used to be a regular at Paul's the Wednesday breakfast or lunch.
Yep. Yeah, and he was on Paul's show a couple of times.
Someone compared New York Times obit headlines, and they had Robert C. Byrd, legend of the Senate dies. They had Ted Kennedy, same liberal line eyes. Then they have Jim Inhofe, climate denier. In other words, they didn't say of Robert C. Byrd, member of the Ku Klux Klan. They didn't say of Ted Kennedy, left a woman for dead. But for Inhofe, it said climate denier or something like that in the subheading. So, but he's a good man. I liked Inhofe. I was surprised he died. He was older than I thought. Maybe he lived a good long life though. But I remember when he got elected, he beat McCurdy there in Oklahoma. So,
back then, Oklahoma was they still are a good, solid red state,
Yeah, Oklahoma's great. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember Senator Nichols.
I remember Senator Nichols. That's not the seat he took, is it?
Might have been. I thought Steve Largent ran for that seat.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Or maybe J.C. Watts, because I know they both ran for it at different times.
Well, I used to see, speaking of kind of a small world, I worked at a movie theater in Tyson's Corner. I used to see both Nichols up there, and I would see McCurdy up there. They lived in McLean, basically.
Yeah, Nichols was a great guy. He was one of the speakers I got to come out to GW to talk to the CRs.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. He was good. Yeah, you're right. I think Nichols was good, very good, and Inhofe was great. I mean, so I'm sorry he passed away, but yeah, he was very good.
Yeah, and they've had, Oklahoma's had some, Doc Colburn, another great Oklahoman.
Yeah. He passed away too.
Yes, he did.
Maybe Inhofe took the Boren seat, the David Boren seat, do you think?
That's probably what it was. That's probably what it was.
But, Inhofe and Paul will be reunited now in heaven, so.
Yes.
They can do direct line in heaven.
Yeah, direct line with Paul.
Paul would be loving this whole sort of Biden thing. I gotta say,
How do you think Paul would feel about the RNC's being pro-life out of the platform too?
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
I don't think he'd like that.
I don't think he'd like that. And the other thing about what would Paul think about all this talk about Project 2025, which is Heritage Foundation's project, and it's getting all this attention, and I don't understand it because they always produce papers. I mean, that's what Heritage does.
I'll tell you what Heritage is doing. All this is a conservative LinkedIn, a database of conservatives who want to work. It's kind of like Morton's LI Job Bank. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And my friend, the code man, has these funny posts he does on Facebook about on page 22 of Project 2025, TV Land must stop airing reruns of the Andy Griffith Show.
Mm.
And to that, I had a funny reply to, and I go, but on page 25, they also have to stop airing Everybody Loves Raymond and start showing The Nanny.
Right.
And it's, I think they're making a lot of fuss and huss about Project 2025.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's absurd. Even Biden is mentioning it, and he'll never read it, of course. And nor will Trump. I mean, it's just a white paper that these think tanks put out.
Mm-hmm. Or Biden could have mistook that with that old song from the 60s, 2520, the year 2525.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That was the theme of the song Cleopatra 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a TV series back in the 80s. It was a sci-fi series where Cleopatra, I guess, is a model in the 80s, and she's somehow transported to the year 2525.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a female version of Captain Power.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember Captain Power. He had the toys where you could shoot back at. You could shoot when you're watching television. They interacted with TV screen, and they would, yeah. It was a fun show. The last, I think, one season, but it was a good show at that. Oh, but we've got. I tell you, the big story is going to be what's that?
Our final predictions, though, for VP. Who it'll be, and when will it be?
I think it's going to be Burgum or Vance.
Well, JD Vance has been getting a lot of attention. I don't really get that so much because I don't know what he brings necessarily, and you got Ohio. So I don't really understand that. Burgum, I know he likes, but he comes from a small state. Going to win anyway. So I'm still thinking Youngkin, and I say he makes the announcement maybe as early as this weekend. But I do think that I think Tim Scott's got an excellent shot.
What if it's somebody out of the blue? Like, remember Dan Quayle? He was not. Nobody had him on that list of being a VP. I remember he was being interviewed on the floor the night before.
Yeah.
And he kind of laughed it off that he was on the list of possible VPs. Honestly, the biggest mistake he did was in '88. 2 years later, he should have run for governor of Indiana, and then set the stage to get back to run for president from there.
Well, I think the reason it was Quayle, he picked Quayle, is he was behind at the time, and he thought it would help shake up the race. And secondly, Quayle offered a good balance. In other words, the youth is like the new generation coming up, and so he wanted to tap into that with a Quayle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like Dan Quayle. I think he just probably wasn't quite ready for it. Mm-hmm. And he could have, like I said, he could have used more seasoning in the Senate. I think he would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
But
but he was the darling of the conservatives in '92.
Yeah,
not '92, 96.
The thing about Quayle is I've seen him interviewed recently, like within a few years.
Was that when his son became a congressman?
Huh?
His son Ben became a congressman from Arizona. Right. Yeah.
But I think Quayle came across very well, very intelligent, like a seasoned statesman. I don't know. I think Quayle would have been a good consideration for Trump, but I don't think so. But
Quayle's not going to do that again. He's
but
already been there.
Well, I like Quayle, though. I think he's very smart. But anyway, with the VP choice, of course, my heart's with Youngkin. But if I have to pick, realistically, I'm thinking Tim Scott. Because I think Trump feels that he brings a potential of the black vote.
Yeah, so if that was okay, I don't think Tim Scott would be a good debater. He, even though he is going to be debating crazy Camilla.
Yeah.
But I think he needs a pit bull, frankly. He needs somebody, Marco would be good. I don't know how I feel
but
about
Rubio would
Marco.
have to, but he'd have to move, right? I mean, I don't know how they establish the residency issue, because they
Just
both can't be from
register.
Florida.
He's got. I think he might have a house in D.C.
All right, but then that's going to be giving up his Senate seat.
Yes, and then what's the name would make the appointment? Ron DeSantis would appoint somebody there.
That's right, DeSantis would, yeah.
And
well, Rubio would be good. I know you're going to disagree with her ideologically, and I would too generally. But I thought
I was for Marco in 2016.
Oh, I was too. I didn't mean him, but I agree with you. I was for Marco then, and I would support him now. But I was thinking Haley would have been a good choice too. I mean, I have my issues with her, but
she might be the dark horse pick. I mean, she might be the one that would shock everyone.
Yeah, and plus it'd show a certain unity.
And President Trump does like to shock and all.
And he pointed her once to Ambassador UN, so maybe. But anyway,
we'll shock us all and put Mike Pence in.
Yeah, but the question also is, if Biden does step down, would that affect Trump's VP pick? And probably would, but you can't count on that. We don't know that he's going to be gone, and I don't think he will. I don't think Biden is going. But if he had Kamala, if his opponent was Kamala, then maybe it would affect who Trump's running mate would be.
Yeah. See, this is, Wildwood Shopping. That's a very nice area, right? And look at this. Craig, it's so sad that when we see panhandlers there. It's just sad, frankly. And we've got, but back to the VP choices. I mean,
who do you think it'll be? Well, who do you think it'll be?
I think it's going to be either Burgum or JD Vance. And if I had to
not Marco? Not Marco, then?
It could be Marco. And I go back and forth. If it's Marco, I like Marco. Okay, I think Marco would be great.
Yeah,
also gives him a leg up for 2028. Because remember, this is just a 4-year job for President Trump.
That's right.
Contrary to what the left is saying, he is not going to declare himself king. Yeah. And and anoint Barron as the new crown prince.
And also, speaking of trying to cling to office like they accuse Trump will be doing maybe in 4 years, look at Biden. Biden's clinging to office even though he can't do it.
Now, I wonder, and here's the thing, I think if Biden loses, we're going to see a lot of violence in the streets.
Well,
a lot of violence in the streets.
I don't know that there's any real loyalty to him, though, among the mob.
No, but they just don't like Trump, so they would do that.
I don't think they have any loyalty to Biden.
No, they don't. But it's to their wacko ideas they have of everything from socialized everything,
It's interesting. You and I have been on politics long enough that we could probably look back on this same question, who be the VP, and who we picked and who ended up getting the nomination.
Well, I tell you, funny story. In 2000, I was working for ACU CPAC, right? And we were talking, and I was talking to Trish, she was like the accountant, bookkeeper person over there. She also worked for Spiro Agnew with David Keene, who also worked for Spiro Agnew. So we're talking. I go, what do you think about, I go, hey, what do you think about Dick Cheney? I think he'd be a great VP. And she goes, oh, no, Dave was fishing with him this weekend. I don't think it's going to be Dick Cheney. And it was Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Well, I remember in 88, I was just getting kind of interested in politics. And Richard Nixon had given advice to H.W. And I think his advice was either pick three people, either George Duke Majan, who was the governor of California, Jack Kemp, or Bob Dole. And he went with Quayle. But I remember seeing Quayle in a few debates and speeches, and
Jack Kemp he should have gone with Jack Kemp, frankly.
Oh, in that case, yeah. But he went with Quayle. But I kind of saw Quayle coming too, because he was a rising star at the time. He was coming up. Kemp just turned out to be a bad debater and really not the best candidate.
Yeah. Well, I think
But Dole picked him, which was a smart move then in '96. I thought that was a smart move. Let's see. And in '92, Bush didn't dump Quayle, which is a good thing. I'm glad he didn't dump him. That was the
Yeah, I
thought.
saw Button the other day dump Quayle.
I didn't think that'd be a good idea. And so it's good he didn't. And then in Dole's pick of Kemp was good. W's pick of Cheney, I thought was good as a governing choice, but I don't know if it really brought him all that much.
Well,
There was
look, Dick
talk about
Cheney,
him picking. There's talk about him picking Tom Ridge of the governor of Pennsylvania, but it was smart he didn't. Ridge turned out to be pretty bad.
Yeah,
But I remember
it's like,
talking about
remember when everybody loved Tommy Thompson?
That's right. Yeah, there's talking about Tommy Thompson, four-term governor of Wisconsin.
And I remember I mentioned to Paul, and Paul did not like Tommy. Oh, did he like Tommy Thompson or did he? No, he did not. He liked John Ashcroft.
Okay, yes. Ashcroft was talked about a couple times. I remember Pete Domenici was talked about a few times.
But I tell you, I think if you remember, John Anderson ran for president in 1980 also.
That's right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he had the most lively campaign because he had like campaign songs for every state he went into.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Carter picking Mondale. Dukakis picking Benson was a smart move, going with sort of the moderate Washington experience guy.
Now, I mean, if you think about it, Michael Dukakis is a moderate compared to today's Democrat Party.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he was a card-carrying member of the ACLU.
Yeah. Well, Massachusetts. But in the case of Biden, he made a mistake, I think, going with Harris because now they're in a tough. Well, maybe this was the reason to do it. Now it's harder to replace him. So maybe it was his insurance. I don't know. But
this is basically she was his diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, a DEI pick. But and in fairness, maybe he didn't know how bad she'd be. But now he can't hand it off to somebody else. I mean, they can't really go with her.
She did not make it to Iowa. That should have been the big clue there.
Yeah.
He could have picked. I mean, he could have picked like Cory Booker, or Harold Ford Jr., somebody like that, would have been better.
But if Harris is the top of the ticket, who Trump should be a good running mate for Trump in that case? Tulsi Gabbard, because remember, it was Tulsi that screwed Harris.
But it's very possible she could be the surprise pick, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi. Yeah, maybe. I like Tulsi, but
that's more radical than him picking Mike Pence again.
Tulsi. The thing about Tulsi is she's so new to sort of the party.
Well, her dad was a very conservative guy from Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because she's from Hawaii, right? Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi.
Yeah. Her dad he supported U.S. English. Do you remember that organization? U.S.
English, I do.
Making English the official language.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was part of that. He was also he ran the referendum that basically stopped gay marriage in Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's just a couple thoughts there. But I wouldn't be disappointed if it was Marco. J.D. Vance I like, but it's kind of disappointing because I don't know what he brings. And Tim Scott is okay, but again, not super exciting. Burgum seems fine, but then again, I don't think he gets you that much. At least take a shot with Youngkin. You have a shot at Virginia. And as Lindsey Graham said, we win Virginia and it's over. I've been monitoring the media in terms of the names they throw out there. And it isn't hopeless in the case of Youngkin because it continues to pop up occasionally, his name. Lindsey Graham mentioned him on one of the chat shows over the weekend, and Larry Kudlow mentioned Youngkin the other day. So, and Byron York has a little piece on the potential of Youngkin. So he's not in the top tier, it looks like, but it looks like they haven't dismissed him either. But only Trump knows. Well,
is Governor Youngkin is he going to be, if he's in Milwaukee next week? We'll know.
Yeah. Well, and then the ramifications for that could be good because then if he becomes vice president, we keep the governor's mansion. You just move up Winsome Sears, and then she runs next year, but she'll be the incumbent running.
Yep.
And in the case of
I tell you, I like Winsome Sears a lot, but I also like Jason Murales.
Oh, I like Jason too. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. I would probably support Jason anyway in that case.
Because he's a George Allen alum. That's why I got to support him.
Oh, yeah.
He worked for George.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, Jason's a great guy. I worked with him at Leadership Institute, Jason.
Yeah. And I think Jason worked on his Senate campaign in 2000.
All right, yeah. Yeah, no,
He's a good guy. Jason's a good guy, yeah. You know,
but also if Rubio is the nominee, the Veep, we don't really lose anything there either, because then, like you said, DeSantis will pick the replacement.
Yeah, and I think he'll probably go to he might. I tell you, he may appoint himself as the senator because they got a good lieutenant governor there.
Oh, can he do that? I guess he could, but that might be kind of.
No, you could do that. He's not selling the seat like Blago did.
Yeah. It's still kind of a lot of hits, but I want to appoint myself.
You know,
but you know what the other thing is? I'll make another prediction for you. I think on the way out the door, Biden pardons Hunter.
Oh, I don't even think he's going to wait till he goes out the door. I think if he loses the next morning, that'll be the first thing he does.
Or if he agrees not to run again, he'll just go ahead and pardon Hunter.
Yeah, or he could have Camilla do it at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, they could play hardball. I was thinking, how can they force him out? And there's one route maybe.
The 25th Amendment's the only way out.
Yeah, right. So if they invoke the 25th Amendment and then get him out as president, well, he can't run again, really. If they, so that's the end of that. They would be deemed as unfit.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the tides around the world, you know, we talked about this briefly last week, but you know, you had the French conservatives are in power again there. Italy, conservative woman prime minister there. The Germans just took a beating as well. Yeah. England is only where the lefties won, and they're not even they're more. And the issue, I think, was illegal immigration. I think that put labor back in.
Yeah, and the other thing is they got rid of Corbyn, which was great, and then they got the Keir Starmer, who I don't think is viewed as too far to the left. But in France, we didn't do so well. I think the Le Pen party, the far right, they did okay. They did well, the best they've done. But overall, it's still going to be a left of center coalition, I believe. Is that correct?
Might be right of center.
You think so? Well, you still got Macron.
That is true. But he's the president, you know, so.
Yeah.
He's like François Mitterrand, the last great French president.
Who Biden talked to, apparently. You heard that one?
Yeah.
I know, congratulate him.
You know, the French president for years, you know how our president has Air Force One? He had the Concorde.
Oh, yeah, Concorde School, yeah.
He used to, I remember it was big news. He flew to Washington to have lunch with President Reagan on his Concorde and flew back.
Wow.
It's like when Phil Collins did a concert in the morning in Wembley, and then he flew to Philadelphia on a Concorde to do a show in Philadelphia in the evening.
Wow. That is amazing. That is cool.
We're at final thoughts actually now, Dave. So I'll let you go. Final thoughts.
Well, I'll be in Maryland on the 16th. Baltimore County Republican group at Raleigh's Oysters, I think.
Is that in Dundalk?
6:30. I don't know. I'm unprepared, but I'll be there. And then the book sales are going okay.
Okay.
That's keeping me busy. I was on the John Reed show earlier this week, which was good, talking about one of my Substack columns. Nice. Things are going okay. Hopefully it'll be a good summer, so we'll see. And that's about it.
Yeah, let's see. We've got, the convention starts next week. Safe travels to all my friends who are going to Milwaukee. We'll see you back next week when we have a president and vice president. We got to get busy to get them elected. And in Maryland, we have to elect Larry Hogan to the Senate, Neil Parrott to Congress and CD6. Rest up. We're going to have to do a blitz come end of July. All hands on deck, so to speak. Also, we've got Maryland. This year, we just passed a whole bunch of dumb laws and raised a bunch of fees. It costs more now to register a car in Maryland.
Yeah.
And they go, well, it's only a one time. No, we got to register every 2 years for our car. The registration, and they got, that's happening. We've got also on the 25th, in a week from this Wednesday, July 25th, Governor Ehrlich we're doing a book event with Governor Ehrlich at the Stained Glass Pub in Silver Spring, Maryland, where this is to benefit. The money is going so the governor, when he does his college tours, he can just give the books away to the kids. His latest book, which is the revised version, should be out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And it was 101 Reasons Why Not to Vote for Joe Biden. It's going to be like 130 some reasons now, or 40 some. I don't know. It's 136 reasons. I think that is what it's going to be now. So it's like it's a great book. Everybody needs to get one of those. It's a great tool to go debate your liberal friends. Go buy it on Amazon or bobehrlich.com. And it's a great book. And
it's Timonium. Looks like it's in Timonium.
Okay, that's not too bad then. Okay. That's up 83.
All right, okay. Timonium at
And
630.
the best way to probably go is take 70 and around to 83.
Okay.
You don't want to go through the tunnel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I'll be there. So
What is the club that you're speaking at? Is it the Greater Baltimore Women?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very great bunch of people there.
All right, good.
Okay, great.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
All right. See you later.
See ya.